solar and battery rebates
Yes.
is middle-class welfare. The electricity prices are higher now due to the $2.8 billion that we have pumped into solar rebates in the past. And that's all been recovered out of electricity prices, which means poor people paid higher money for electricity so that rich people can have a solar system.
I think there's so many things wrong with that statement.
No,
let's break it down.
Look, I've got solar. I'm a hypocrite. I benefited from it, okay? And yes, there are other benefits that are coming through.
Yeah.
But my argument is now not that solar is bad and it's been terrible for poor people. My argument is it should have been inclusive of a rental incentive at the same time we started to roll it out, because the cliff between when you fly over Sydney now, you can literally see which are rental properties because they're the ones who haven't got solar on it yet.
Look, I think that I just want to address the point that I think it's a misnomer that it's the rich people who have solar. Like the studies have shown that people who are rich don't really care about their energy bills. They don't need to care about their energy bills.
So it's the middle class.
It's the middle class. Yeah. And I'd really hate the term middle class welfare, because give us a break. I'm middle class and I need the help. You know, we're in a cost of living crisis and I need the help.
Your middle class doesn't feel so middle anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't. So like, you know, I had that argument with Minister Bowen's office around this. I was like, okay, middle class welfare, I'll take that welfare. I think a lot of other middle class people will, because we're in a cost of living crisis and we need help with our energy bills. So bring it on.
Look, I'm being facetious. I was deliberately facetious, and thank you for taking the worm. But my point is very simply, I want to practically have a quick discussion. You're in this field all the time. You've probably been thinking about it many, many more times.
Yeah.
If I just put my quick thinking hat on, I've actually done it with tenants. I've got solar on my house.
Yeah.
And I've put a little meter on the meter box.
Mm-hmm.
And I now know how much my tenant consumes.
Yeah.
But I understand some of it will come out of the solar system that I initially purchased.
Yes.
So what I do is every 3 months, I tell my tenants you had 1,000 kilowatt hours coming out, and under normal circumstance, you would pay 35 or 40 cents for it, and I'll charge you 20 cents. You got a benefit, and I still get more than my feed-in tariff out of it. And we're actually kind of both in a winner-winner situation. Or alternatively, you could say, okay, I've got a solar system. It'll create $800 worth of benefits every quarter in the electricity, but I'm only charging you $300 extra in the rent.
Yeah.
You win a bit extra.
Yeah.
I win a bit extra.
That's right.
But you've got to have the non-greedy landlord attitude a little bit.
Yes.
But I just don't understand why we can't get the brightest sparks into one room who understand rental law and who understand solar and actually find a solution that allows renters to have an access. And it shouldn't be to what they've done in New South Wales, where you're now allowed to have a Doberman in your one-bedroom flat and the landlord can't do anything about it. And when the place later is trashed, then, you know, we have a problem that was predictable. So I'm not for forcing landlords to accept things that is not necessarily in their line of thinking when they purchase that particular unit or that place. But I just believe there must be something better than what we're doing right now, which isn't much.
No, I agree with you. And I think solar for renters is a really important focus for us over the next 18 months. So we have policy recommendations, but we're also going to go through a process now of consulting with a wider group that we work with, which is called the Renew Australia for All Alliance. And there's 70 groups within that alliance, which includes faith groups, trade unions, other NGOs,
So you don't want to preempt your policy here on our program?
We have a draft policy. We've been working on it. We have been putting forward a policy for a few years. So I'm happy to share that. But I also know that we need to have buy-in from all those groups around that policy solution to make sure that we're not, you know, creating any other unforeseen problems. So the policy solutions that we've been pushing for a while for solar for renters is a carrot and stick approach. So what's the carrot? Accelerated tax rebates for landlords. What's the stick? Minimum energy efficiency standards, which the states have to implement. So it's a federal and state combined solution.
Right. So in Germany now they have an energy pass, and actually houses in the same street and partly because energy prices are so expensive and you really need to heat in winter, so double glazed windows make a big difference, or even triple glazed to what they have single glazed houses. So you could have the same house and it would sell hundreds of $1,000s more if it is double glazed and has heat pump systems and all that. So it's actually reflected in that. So that energy pass is very useful there. But I could see not many politicians have an appetite to that because it straight away has cost implications and more bureaucracy and all of those things. So how's the progress on that kind of front?
Well, it will need a big push from lots of groups to make that happen. And it's a social justice equity issue as well. You know, renters otherwise will be left behind. So sometimes the government has to suck up doing things to support those least fortunate. Look, the federal government, to give them a break, like they have invested $800 million in energy upgrades for social housing in this last term of government. That was one of the things that we were pushing for. And that's also been matched by the states. So that means that people in social housing can get energy upgrades, including rooftop solar, and they are the people who need it most. And in a way, that's the easiest of the renter community to address quickly because the government is the landlord. So you've got a single landlord who can upgrade those.
Yeah, but I've been seeing this, and I feel like, cranky old kraut here. I've seen those tenders, and usually the cheapest solar system gets picked, which means if you'd pay a little bit more, you get something probably lasting 10 years longer.
Yeah.
And so I find those social housing projects in the tender sometimes, when you look at the final result, you go, you guys stuffed it.
Well, I don't look at tenders for social housing upgrades, but we did push the New South Wales state government to ensure that the uptake of that rooftop solar on social housing was tied to a procurement deal with a local manufacturer, SunDrive, the company that's doing the copper-based solar manufacturing. We wanted that tender process, that procurement process, to make sure that it supported local manufacturing of solar.
Yeah, okay. It's a positive thing, but then those panels haven't proven themselves in the field. They're brand new. You're really giving somebody a very big helping hand there, and we're supposed to be letting the market play the.
But you also argued previously to support Australian made. So how do we do
that?
No.
I was talking specifically about the batteries. That I felt that I think personally, my personal opinion is when it comes to the panels, the race is run.
But not with copper based. So we will have a silver shortage in the world before we reach the rooftop solar potential. So we need to have other options from the current solar manufacturing. This is why I love what SunDrive are doing with their copper-based solar manufacturing, because it's easier to recycle, it's more energy efficient, and it's local.